everyone, I'm Lynda Kinkade. We begin in Greece, where the central bank is warning of a doomsday scenario if the government fails to make a deal with creditors. It's 9:30 p.m. in Athens right now, and anti-austerity protesters are taking to the streets to show support for the Prime Minister. Alexis Tsipras is remaining defiant, even accusing the International Monetary Fund of trying to humiliate the Greek people. Negotiations are set for Thursday, a little more than a week before Greece is supposed to make a payment to the IMF. The Eurogroup chairman says he's still working to keep Greece in the Eurozone and that any talk of a Greek exit is premature. Elinda Labropoulou joins us now from Athens with the details. And Elinda, the last few weeks, the Greek government claimed they had the money to pay back the IMF but wanted to bundle up their debts. Now the lead negotiator has since said Greece doesn't have the money. Where does that leave negotiations?
Well, with the clock ticking and fears of a potential default to the IMF payment in the end of the month, that could lead to an exit from the Eurozone and even an exit from the EU. At least that's the governor of the Bank of Greece described the situation today, saying that if no deal is reached, there's going to be an uncontrollable crisis with extreme recession and extreme unemployment. Now, there is hope that a deal can be made, although it appears increasingly unlikely that this will be reached at tomorrow's Eurogroup, as was initially hoped. So the most important date to keep in mind is June the 30th, when Greece's current bailout ends and the country could find itself with no access to funding as it remains cut off the markets and out of this program. Then in the default, then it would also find itself out of ECB liquidity funding, and then would be running into real problems, Lynda.
And we know last week members of the Greek trade union protested, blaming the government for failing to pull the country out of this crisis, saying we've bled enough, we've paid enough. And today, as we can see, thousands of pro-government supporters rallying. What are they saying?
Well, this rally is in support of the government ahead of tomorrow's crucial Eurogroup meeting in Brussels. It's under the slogan, "We take the negotiations in our hands," and it's been organized through social media. Thousands of people are gathered in Athens outside Parliament, asking the government to stick to its pledges and at the same time reminding leaders and lenders that this government has the democratic mandate to put an end to austerity. So this is clearly a call from the unions and normal people to saying that, we don't want the government to change its tough stance. Having said that, all the latest polls indicate that 9 in 10 Greeks believe that there will be a deal, and 7 in 10 say that Greece will be making most of the concessions. So Greeks are being quite realistic, partly to what lies ahead and what will be expected of them. But at the same time, they are voicing their protest to more austerity and more cuts, which is definitely what they don't want, Lynda.
And as you mentioned earlier, the unemployment rate continues to rise. It's now at 26.6% for the first quarter of this year. No doubt there's a lot of frustration from the people you're talking to there.
Extreme frustration, and the frustration is also mainly because they don't really see a way out of this situation. They're saying that with having more austerity, nothing is going to change. Greece is going to remain in the same vicious circle that it has for the last 5 years. That's why they're supporting the government's push for debt relief. They see this debt relief and any progress towards growth, any move towards growth, as the only way for Greece's future to get better.
Well, we'll have to see what happens. Elinda Labropoulou, thank you very much for joining us.